Okay, so what is the one pillar that we consider non-negotiable?
Fear.
The sphere of influence. I agree with that. That is completely non-negotiable. Why is that one non-negotiable?
Because that's where your money is made. That's your go-to for everything, your basis of your business.
Okay, I agree. The SOI should always start out as that foundation for the business of which we build upon, correct? All right. So can we statistically prove why it makes sense to work for our SOI?
Absolutely.
I agree, we can, right? So let's do that. What we're going to talk about just briefly is the financial ramifications of properly working our SOI. And this is where so many agents, they struggle and they drop the ball. Now, we'll talk later about how to properly classify SOI, et cetera, because we have some issues we need to clear up there as well. But why would I financially work my SOI? Too many agents are willing to chase after this, chase after that, instead of putting together a really good plan for their SOI. You know the percentage of agents that don't use a CRM?
Not off the top of my head.
Over 80%, right? Over 80% of agents in our industry, don't use a CRM, which tells me they do not have a good touch plan in place for their advocates, right? 74% of our agents last year did not sell a home. You think there's a correlation there?
Very much so.
Absolutely there is, right? So we understand that it's important, but then we have to understand, okay, well, but financially, what makes sense about that? So let's just talk about that. So let's just say we're just going to make it easy. I'm going to say I have 100 top advocates. Okay. Now, how often do people move?
What is it, 5 to 7 years now?
Okay. It used to be 5 to 7. There has been a shift. So last year, the numbers came out and it was every 10 years. Okay. So if I'm doing statistics here, if I have 100 true top advocates, which means they know me, like me, trust me, will use me no matter what. If I have 100 of them, statistically, how many are going to move every year?
10.
10. Yeah, I agree. So if they move every 10 years, and I still think that's somewhat conservative, but let's just say 10 of them are going to move every year. That is a statistical fact, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they are truly top advocates and I've stayed top of mind with them, they will use me. I have every right to expect that, correct? Now, here's another mind-boggling statistic, and this came out last year. 90% of people close a home and say they use the same agent. You know how many do?
I do, but not off the top.
Yeah, 17%. That means 73% of the agents might have done a good job, got them through a transaction, and then they just kind of let them go, right? Maybe they send them a calendar once a year, or they reach out periodically, right? And they wonder why their business is struggling because they don't have the solid touch plan. All right. But back to the financial reasons here. So if 100 top advocates are in my database, I have the proper touch plan in place, which means what? Quarterly phone calls, quarterly note cards, something in their digital inbox every month, something in their physical mailbox every month, client event, royal schedules, chief schedules, right? I have that touch plan in place with the right people. If I'm sending all that to the wrong people, I'm spinning my wheels, right? That's also frustration. We'll talk about that at a later time. So I have 100 true top advocates. 10 of them are going to move. All right. Let's just say half of those are going to have to sell and then buy. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, very much so.
Okay. So then that means of my 10, 5 of those have to sell a house and then buy a house. The other half are just going to be a single transaction, right? Either they're just going to sell and move somewhere else. Maybe I get a referral for that, right? Or maybe they're renting and they're going to buy, right? So I'm already at 15 transactions. Would you agree? Just from working this 100 people. I can't tell you how many agents I've coached over the years that I ask them, okay, what's your SOI? What's the database? What are your top advocates? And they'll tell me 200. And then I'll ask them, okay, well, how many deals did you do off of that? 6. There's something wrong there? Yeah, either I have the wrong people in this group or I'm not doing the correct job in staying in flow with them, right? Teaching them the importance of referrals, how to give them, rewarding them for that, right? Something is misfiring and we need to clean that up to be able to start getting these kinds of results. Because how does that change my business? And boom, right there, I've already got 15 deals.
This opens you up for the rest of your tasks or
100%, right?
Freedom.
Yeah. And what's our average commission?
I think it's like what, 65, 75.
Okay, I'm good with that. Yeah, easily, right? So we'll say 7,500. Okay. So how much have I already earned? This is statistical, almost guarantee if I'm doing this correctly. How much have I earned? What is that, 75,000, half of that? What was that, 112.5?
Or something like
Was that, I'm gonna go with that. Doing that math on my head, could be off a little bit, right, but it's getting us darn close, right? So if I do a good job building this database, I do a good job staying in touch with my people, right? I'm already a 6-figure earner, do you agree? I know it to be true because I've seen it over and over again, right? And I've seen the opposite when agents aren't embracing the right strategies and doing this correctly, and they're nowhere near that, right? They're getting 20, 30,000 from it, and it's like you're this hamster on a wheel, and it's just this struggle bus, right? We don't want that, right? We haven't even talked about referrals. I personally think you should be able to close a deal for 1 out of every 5 of your people, but let's go conservative again. Let's just say I get 10 referrals that lead me to closings. Very doable. If I'm working my SOI right, that is 100% doable. And let's say again, half of those are a 2-sided deal, right? So I'm 15. I just doubled that. Am I now at what, 225,000, right? So yeah, I can expect, and I know this to be true because I've done it myself. I've seen other agents do it. If I have a core group of advocates, if they truly qualify, right? If they don't qualify, then they shouldn't be there, right? And they're gonna throw my statistics completely off. They truly have to be advocates. If I have 100 solid advocates, I put the right touch plan in place, I stay consistent with that. How do we do that? Scheduling, right? Our schedule is what matters, okay? Because remember, we build the entrepreneur's mantra, then we build the agile, we build the action plan, move it to a schedule, boom, right? Then we have every reason to expect to get these kind of results, correct? So looking at that, is there any reason that you would be out there chasing anything other than building your SOI and getting this really solid and in place? I agree. Right now, I'm not opposed to those other strategies. We need those. Sometimes they grow that, but all of those should be built on the foundation of the SOI because it gives me the highest returns. That makes sense? Okay, so that is the financial ramifications on why we work our SOI correctly.